Yo, how's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Boruto manga. We're covering Chapter 60 in today's review. And this, once again, it's more of a, chill chapter. There's just more setup going on here between Kawaki, Sumire, Amado, Code, Damon, Ada, all that stuff that's going on. It seems like this is all set up to, what's to happen coming up pretty soon. Probably going into the time skip. So, how was the chapter overall? Well, before I get into that, you know the drill. If you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It would be pretty cool if you did that. Alrighty, let's get on to the review. So the chapter begins with Shikamaru, Sai, and Ibiki examining some claw marks that are found outside of the village. As it turns out, these claw marks are in the Five Great Nations. And in Konoha, they're like right outside the village, right outside the outer wall. Which means that Code can basically instantaneously teleport there anytime he wanted. And I like how they compare it to the Force Flying Raijin ability, where he's basically instantaneously teleporting from one location to another, as long as he's got it marked. It's actually pretty neat. I like the comparison here. But the one thing I find interesting is that obviously they're trying to, stay close to Naruto, Boruto, Amado, Sasuke, Kawaki, because if Code strikes, those people are most likely on his target list to take out. Obviously, he's an Otsutsuki worshiper, so he's going to be going for them first. He wants to avenge Ishiki, so they got people protecting him at all times. Kawaki's sitting on the Hokage monument, and there are people that are basically just watching him from a distance. But anyways, another thing I find interesting about this conversation between Shikamaru, Sai, and Ibiki is Sai mentions that they actually found some Kara outers, presumably in the village, interrogated them, but they know nothing. As we learn, the Kara outers don't really know exactly what Kara is up to. They don't know exactly what the Inners are planning. They don't know exactly what the plan is for Kara. They're just basically agents for Kara. So, obviously they don't know anything, so they're not getting any leads on Code. All Five Great Nations are basically looking for this guy, and they can't locate him at all. Pretty crazy, huh? And I just like how Shikamaru here is super frustrated. He's like, sheesh. I just wish Code would just stay with the Ten Tails and just disappear. Yeah, but anyways, I thought this was a pretty cool scene, setting up the ability for Code to just show up in the village at any moment. So the scene shifts over to Sumire and Amado, in which she's still questioning him and what he's plotting. He tells her that, the stuff with Kawaki, that's a personal matter, but I'm telling you right now, your fears about me, betraying Konoha are baseless. I have no intention of doing anything wrong to the village, I swear. Sumire is still very suspicious and wonders what he's working on. Looks like there's a cyborg here in a container. Looks like it's going to be a new powerful ally for Konoha, as Amado puts it. But Sumire is still very much suspicious. And it turns out that Katasuke is actually aware of this. And as a result of Amado defecting and then becoming, an asylum member of Konoha, one of his conditions was he was to share tech with Katasuke. So, Katasuke is aware of what's going on. But I'm just wondering who this cyborg is going to be. Judging by the silhouette we see here, it does kind of look a little bit like Delta's hair. Not 100% certain whether Amado would maybe brainwash her, make her a servant of Konoha or not. That could be problematic if this is indeed Delta, because maybe she sees Naruto and it triggers a bad memory of her losing to Naruto. Who knows? Like I said, this probably isn't Delta, but judging by the silhouette here, it does look a lot like her hair, so I guess we'll find out in the future chapters who this cyborg is. So the scene shifts over to Code, Ada, and Damon is still playing with Code, riding him like a horsey, and Code is getting quite frankly tired of this. And then Bug shows up, and Damon just immediately attacks this guy, punches his face in. And, this kid is really annoying. I'm not going to lie. He has a very punchable face. Not going to lie. But anyways, Bug gets assaulted, and Code uses his markers. And he does this in order to show Damon his ability off, which is the ability to basically instantaneously teleport between these markers. So he grabs Bug and pulls him through his chest, basically. But he's basically pulling him through one of the markers that's on his chest from where Bug is at, actually. So he's showing off his ability to Damon. And he does this mainly so that Damon will reveal a little bit more of his abilities, maybe something else that he has under his belt. But Ada intervenes and basically tells Damon not to tell Code any more of his secrets. Code immediately suspects that Ada over here is hiding something, and wonders if she has other abilities that she's not telling him. And she's over here has a suspicious look. She's like, oh, wouldn't that be interesting? So unfortunately for Code, he's not able to learn if Ada or Damon have any other abilities, which it seems like Damon at least has something else under his sleeve, which he's not allowed to talk to or discuss with Code at the moment. So anyways, our scene shifts again to Kawaki. Now Kawaki, a lot of the villagers don't really know about his presence or who he is really. So as he's walking around, going around the village, he's in a convenience store. He's actually being stared at by a bunch of people. That's unfortunately what's going to be happening because people just don't really know about him. He's an outsider, so people are unaware of him. But we also have Boruto at the same time at his house. He's actually taking those Byakugan pills. It seems like he's taking two a day for a week now, but nothing has happened, whether it's good or bad. So he wonders if these are actually really working, but as it turns out, Kawaki over here, he's wandering around the village. It seems like he's late for dinner. And as it turns out, Kawaki is back at the Hokage Monument after going to that convenience store. He's got a bottle of water and a rice ball. That's his dinner. And then that's when Naruto shows up. Now I like how Kawaki is portrayed here, because he likes the view from where he's at, the Hokage Monument. But he thinks to himself, and he's talking to Naruto, and he basically comes to the conclusion that there's no place for me, not in this village, not anywhere. Maybe Jigen/Ishiki was right about me. I'm a troublesome outsider, and I don't belong here. And Naruto immediately just takes Kawaki, just picks him right up and takes him back home. He's like, yep, we're going home, my stupid son. I don't know, I thought that was pretty funny. And Naruto and Kawaki head back home, and as it turns out, they've thrown a welcoming party for Kawaki. They never actually got to do it before because of all the crazy stuff that happened. And Kawaki wasn't exactly the kindest kid or the most reasonable kid coming into the house. But they've decided to throw one after all this time, showing Kawaki that this is where he belongs. I also like that Vase-kun is back. Vase-kun with flowers in the middle of this table. And I like how Kawaki's sitting there is like, hey, why didn't you just use the vase that I bought from Ino's shop? This one looks ugly now with these cracks. But Himawari actually pipes up and says, but I chose to use it. And the vase is actually more precious to me now, considering all that's happened. So yeah. And also Boruto has something nice to give him as well. And I just like some of the banter that goes on between the two. I think it's pretty funny. But Boruto is actually lending him his headband, his ninja headband. And yeah, at the moment, Boruto can't really use it because he can't really go on missions. So he's lending it to Kawaki, who's still, a ninja in training. Also, Boruto has Sasuke's headband as well, so he's probably going to be using that in the future. We also know that Boruto is going to be getting his scar at some point in the future, so he's definitely going to be using Sasuke's headband for a little while. But yeah, anyways, Kawaki actually ends up putting the headband on, and yeah, at first he's not really sure how he feels about it. Boruto's also, not sure about it as well, but Hinata and Himawari seem to like it as well. But Kawaki actually takes it and puts it around his neck, which some ninjas actually do this, so maybe Kawaki will prefer this style, using, the headband around his neck instead. But the chapter ends up with Naruto and Kawaki basically having a bedroom talk. Naruto's sleeping in his Hokage office at home, and Kawaki's just sitting there talking to him, and Naruto basically tells him that, yeah, this is where you belong. Basically, Konoha is a place where anyone can belong. And Kawaki starts thinking to himself that, hey, this is actually where I belong, a place where I belong, Konoha. And he mentions to himself that he doesn't need karma. There's still one thing that I can do to protect Konoha, and Lord Seventh. As the chapter comes to an end, also Boruto is in his room, staring at his palm, and also staring at the Byakugan pills as well. Yep, and that's pretty much where the chapter 60 comes to an end. So I was actually quite surprised with this chapter. After I read some of the spoilers, I was actually not looking forward to it, but after reading it, I think this was a good chapter in my opinion. Not great, not decent, but a good, solid chapter. I actually like what they're doing with Kawaki here. I was expecting some more information from Sumire and Amado, and we got a little bit in this chapter. I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, we got all these plot lines that are going on at once between Sumire and Amado, Code and the others, Naruto, Kawaki, Boruto, and his Byakugan pills. we got all these different plot lines going on at once. So obviously with a monthly series, it's hard to focus in on all of them. But I like what they did here with Kawaki in this chapter, because throughout the chapter you see him, he's walking around the village, and he's not exactly too happy because people are spying on him. He obviously doesn't feel like he belongs there. He feels like an outsider. Despite the fact that he likes the view from the Hokage Monument, he tells Naruto that, hey, I don't feel like I belong here. I'm just an outsider. Jigen was right. I truly don't belong here. But Naruto assures him that this is where you belong. Konoha is a place where, anybody can come here and belong here. And if they don't feel like that, if you don't feel like that, Kawaki, then I failed my job as Hokage. And I just like what they're doing with, Kawaki, his relationship with Naruto, being his adoptive father. I just like what they're doing here. The dynamic is really nice. So I think that this chapter did a good job in this regard. This also begs the question, how in the world does Kawaki change? What exactly is going to make him change? Because the path that he's been going on so far is him wanting to protect Konoha, protect Naruto, protect the one that protects the village. The one that's the leader of the village. He just wants to save Naruto, so how in the world does Kawaki change? Does Amado take him to the dark side? Does Code give him some offer? Ada give him some offer that changes Kawaki and his opinions? And he goes against them? It's really hard to see him doing something like this at this point because he's dead set on protecting Naruto. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next couple of chapters, or I guess the next year or two of the Boruto manga, to where, things change drastically. That all being said, I'm hoping, after this chapter, maybe the next chapter, things start to get, a little bit more intense in the Boruto manga. Right now we're focusing on characters and building them up. But I'm hoping something dramatic happens pretty soon, just to spice things up. Like Kashin Koji showing back up in the village and confronting Amado. Or Code making his move, or Amado revealing his intentions. Maybe he accidentally leaks something, Sumire finds that out, and then he's exposed. There's so many things that they could play with going into the next couple of chapters, and I'm hoping they do that. Because I feel like this chapter, it feels like, the end of, Kawaki, feeling like, okay, I'm accommodating the Konoha. This is the place I belong. But I have to protect Konoha and Naruto. And what's going to happen next. I feel like the next step is to make something dramatic happen. Whether Code shows up, whether Amado, reveals some of his intentions unintentionally to Sumire or somebody else, or just leaks it out somehow. Maybe Kawaki and him have a conversation, and he decides to go along with his plan and, reactivate his Karma Seal. I don't know, something needs to happen, in my opinion, to make things a little bit more dramatic, to spice things up, to excite the plot a little bit more. Because even though these chapters have been pretty nice, and this chapter was a good chapter in my opinion, the monthly wait is agonizing. I'm just hoping with, next month's chapter, the chapter after that, something happens to spice up the plot line and make it exciting. Not saying things are exciting, not exciting right now, but right now things are slow. We're just building with the characters. So I feel we've, spent enough time building up some of the upcoming villains and Kawaki and Amado. I feel like we built that all up properly. Now it's time to move to the next step. Have something dramatic happen, and then maybe we go into the time skip after that. Who knows? It's just, one of my thoughts going into the upcoming Boruto chapters. I just want something dramatic to happen coming up pretty soon. Because if we keep going at this pace, I feel like people are going to start getting bored. And while I thought this was a good chapter, I feel like something really does need to happen coming up soon to shake the plot up. So that's all I got for this chapter review. So overall, Boruto Chapter 60 was a good chapter in my opinion. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So guys, in the comment section down below, post your thoughts. What do you think of this chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are you looking forward to in the upcoming Boruto chapters? What do you want to see specifically after all these build-up development chapters? You want to see something crazy happen? You want more build-up development chapters? You want a crazy fight to happen? You want the time skip to happen? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day or night, everyone.